Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Nice, you can for sure. Okay, should I stream for you?
I mean, I could just watch your stream. I don't think it matters if I like see things half a second late, no?
Okay, let's do that then. Then let's start right away, I guess. I don't know which team do we start with. Like when you were doing the tier list, did you start with the whole region and you did the whole region and then you moved on into another region? Or did you do like first seeds into second seeds into third seeds?
Yeah, I mean, I did like top and bottom because I feel like for me, it's like, I don't know how you feel about the teams. I didn't do wildcard teams because I just didn't watch them. So I started with like Mad Lions, 100 Thieves. I just think those are like the worst two teams by far out of all the other teams. So I started with the bottom and then I put in like my top tier and then I filled that in everything. I don't know how you're going to do it.
Okay, yeah, I think we can do something similar. I think we can start from the bottom to the top. I have only DC, B, A, C. I feel like I could use maybe one more. I don't know if I can add it though. Maybe I can't.
Yeah, you just click the
okay, I'm just gonna I will just C, and then this will be, I guess, D, and this is like I don't know, maybe I should name it differently. I could maybe name it differently as well, but let's just go for this for now. So well, I mean, I suppose in E tier, so this, okay, so the reason why I did this is because I want to put all the wildcard teams there. I think that just makes sense, you know. I'm not gonna rate them, I'm just gonna put them there. I think it's like self-explanatory. I actually think PSG deserves D tier though. I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel like they have decent players and they constantly make it to the main stage of the tournament. The main stage, I mean, like where Europe and NA goes out. That's like kind of main stage for us, right? Okay,
yeah.
I
mean, I guess for America, for North America last year, we did make quarterfinals. Europe unfortunately didn't, but you know, we could just say that they both go out in Swiss. I'm fine with it. We could just lie to ourselves.
Okay, that's true, but you guys got lucky because G2.
Okay, when we win, it's luck. When you guys win, it's just
no. Okay, the truth is that currently we are pretty much even. I don't think NA is. Okay, I believe that the West is still kinda like Europe is one team region and it's G2, and if G2 chokes it, we are so cooked. And I don't know what do you think of NA this year, because I don't think that FlyQuest and Team Liquid are that great either, but I think they are probably, honestly, they are probably on par with Fnatic. I don't think these teams are better than Fnatic, but I think they are quite on par with them.
So what would TL need to do to prove to you that they're better than Fnatic?
Just beat them, I guess.
But they beat them twice already. They beat them at EWC 2-0. They beat them in MSI 3-1.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess Fnatic. Okay, you know what? We are one team region. You are agree. You know what? I don't have an argument. Like, you guys are just better then. And do you think that because FlyQuest did win to against Team Liquid in the finals, right? So does that mean that FlyQuest is actually better?
I know. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. So the way I kind of see it is like, what's your interpretation of Hanwha Life versus Gen.G?
I think Gen.G is still better. I would still put G.
That's literally the exact same way I feel about the LCS teams. I think that Team Liquid, they were worse on one day, and it was surprising. But like, if they base one person, they go to a game 5. I don't know. I think the TL in general has been better than FlyQuest, but on that day they were worse. Kind of the same way that like Gen.G in general is better than Hanwha Life, but on that day they were worse.
Okay, sure. I mean, that makes sense. I feel like at least, I mean, it depends quite on the meta, right? Like I'm playing in-houses and I'm watching in-houses, and it does seem that there are some troll picks, but it does also seem like there will still be, you know, Ziggs, maybe some AP mages bot. We will see a lot of tanks in the jungle. Some Brand is being played, and Flex, Zyra as well, some Yone. And I feel like this style fits Hanwha a lot because of Zeka and because of Peanut. So I don't know how exactly I'm gonna rate them, because I feel like Peanut on these junglers that are facilitating is so good, and Canyon performs way better in the carry jungle meta, right, with Chovy. And I just feel like I don't know if Canyon will be allowed to like play Karthus, which he did throughout the whole year, you know, when he was playing Karthus in full cleaning. I don't think that's very good. So
yeah, I don't think full clearing on mage junglers is that great either. I mean, I think that Kenyon Skarner could be something that ends up getting permabanned. Like, he was playing it a lot, and I actually think he was playing it pretty well, even in finals in game 5 versus Hanwha Life.
Yeah,
I think he kind of had a game-winning play, and then his team griefed. Like, Pays just sent it in the Dragon Pit. So I've been a fan of his Skarner. I think that his Skarner will be something that will like might give him an advantage over other junglers. I think Jarvan is a question mark for me, bro. I don't know which junglers will actually be good at it. Like,
I think Oner is pretty okay. I mean, I feel like all the junglers can play this champ. Okay, so Jarvan is the kind of champ where all the junglers will be confident enough to pick it, but some junglers will look worse on it and some junglers will look better. I think the players that can play it from NA I think probably Umti can play it, right? I think Umti overall can play many junglers, so I assume he can play it. I think Inspired can play Jarvan. Who is 100 Thieves jungler?
River is like a Jarvan
one trick P, no?
Like
Yeah, he plays... yeah, I remember River. So yeah, he plays a lot of... He played Jarvan. Jarvan's not even that good. And then from Europe, I think Razor can play okay Jarvan. I think Elioya can play okay Jarvan. And I think Yike can play okay Jarvan. I think European Jarvans are not the best. But they
Bro,
are
how
quite...
you pronounce his name? Is it Yike?
I don't know. Yeah, Yike.
I'll call him Yike, bro. I like that.
But how do you normally... How is it supposed to be in proper English, American English?
I think we just call him Yike.
Okay, Yike. I always get confused because sometimes I call him Yike and sometimes I call him Yike, and then I'm confused which one is the proper... which one is correct. Like English, correct.
Bro, I don't know. Yike just sounds like... more
it sounds alpha,
Yike
no?
So,
yeah, Yike sounds soy. Yike sounds alpha. I agree.
I mean, also he's European, right? And I feel like Yike is a very American way to say it. Just Yike. Just
and also Yike sounds like he
really,
hinted.
Yeah,
but Yike sounds like he's...
I don't know. He sounds more like scary. Like if that guy plays against you, he's gonna do some crazy shit. He's gonna invade you or something.
Okay, I think we are gonna go actually one by one from left to right. So let's start with the 100 Thieves. You have to help me with that. I did watch maybe a game or two of FlyQuest and Team Liquid, but I really have not seen 100 Thieves games. I don't know what to expect here. I know you guys, they have... yeah, I don't even know. Honestly, besides River, I don't even know who plays in... no, there is Sniper, which is the NA rookie, which is very talented apparently. And then there is River, which is the jungler, right?
Yeah, you know they're mid.
Is it Quid? Yeah. And then the bot lane, is it Mashu?
Masu, so Masu is on FlyQuest. He used
oh
to
yeah,
be a guy
okay.
named Meech.
So it's Tomo and Aya.
And Ayla, but now it's Tomo. Tomo replaced him in like week 6 or 5 or something.
I see. So how do you rate how do you rate 100 Thieves? Like in your expert opinion of the NA region that you watch every game of?
Oh, I don't know. I just think they're bad, bro. Like I just really think they're gonna. I think there's a chance they don't even make it out of play.
Okay, but do you think they are level of like D tier like PSG, or do you think they will be better than PSG? Because PSG is the wildcard region still, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, if PSG played 100 Thieves, I would think PSG would probably win. I mean, PSG beat FlyQuest, bro. I don't know, man. Like,
but that wasn't that... When was that?
That was MSI. I mean,
that was
obviously,
MSI?
like, I don't take too much away from it,
but back then, FlyQuest was also worse, and they had Jensen, and there was, like, a lot of tension within the team, and I feel like that just doesn't happen anymore, right? Or shouldn't, at least.
For sure.
And also, I don't know if you watched, like, the game I just watched of, like, these guys playing each other, but there was, like, some inting going on, so I wonder if people is gonna review that or not. But either way, yeah, I just feel like FlyQuest is... They like each other more than they did with Jensen, and Jensen was the Inter, apparently. Yep. So, yeah, I do think that... Right now, at least, I don't see FlyQuest losing to PSG, for sure not. I think they just have better players. But, yeah, 100 Thieves, I don't know. I really don't know. If you think they are that bad, I can put them D tier.
I think that they're bad. I don't expect them to do anything. I mean, they're not even a team that should be at Worlds. You know, like they are going there because Cloud9 failed and like they played well on the day. But overall, 100 Thieves has so many like flaws in their gameplay. Their 2v1s are just... They just always get behind, bro. Like, their 2v1s are just always behind.
Okay, but do you think that we can give them the benefit of the doubt because they are young and they can improve quickly in the World's Bootcamp playing against good teams? Obviously, a team like them will not get good scrims. You know, Gen.G is not gonna play them, most likely, unless they want to scout. But they will play against G2. They'll play against, you know, the best NA teams, the best EU teams, which doesn't say much, but they will probably play against some Chinese teams and LCK teams too. So I'm just wondering, do you think they can improve quickly? They are very young, actually. Pretty much every player, like the oldest is River, which is 99.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, when I'm looking at this team, I don't think they'll... I think they could improve, obviously, but I don't think they'll become a different team. Like, they were very similar the entire year. I mean, arguably, they were even better in spring. Like, in spring, they were tied for first place in regular season. They were winning a lot of the best of ones. In summer, they were struggling. Then Tomo came in. It gave them, like, honeymoon phase again. They started playing a little bit better. He's definitely a more solid player than Meech, but there's still so many games that you watch 100 Thieves where they just, like, chain int, turbo run it down together. And I feel like this type of stuff, if you do this at Worlds, you're just going to lose the game. Like, you're not going to be able to come back. Like, there's 10k gold throws that they had. Oh my god, bro. If you watched all their games, if you watch Dignitas 100 Thieves, I think it's very hard to watch 100 Thieves play games that they're winning and be like, they are a good team.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, I'm not sure because I didn't watch, but I think so too. And I think if we are making this kind of mistakes at Worlds at least, I don't think they are gonna win games. And I also don't think that they are like mechanically that good. But I still want to rate them over at PSG. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm really rating PSG too low or something. But I feel like, I mean, they are the 3rd seed from NA, and they should be better than wildcard teams. They just should be better.
So what you want to do is put 100 Thieves over PSG. So then when PSG inevitably beats them, you will just say, "Wow, NA choked so hard." How
okay, you know what? I'm just gonna put
seed?
PSG in C tier because now it's I think PSG is actually pretty good, and I'm gonna put SAG in D tier because Evie plays there, and you know that way I will make Evie happy as well. Got them.
I will not speak.
I mean, okay, but to be honest, the rest of the teams are pretty. Now I'm gonna make like the South American happy because I just put all the South American teams in E tier.
Okay, but okay, so Pain, I actually have watched a decent amount of CBLOL.
Okay.
I watched most of the games Pain played. Like, if Baron didn't exist, this region would be fine. But as soon as Baron spawns, everything goes to shit. Like,
but this is not how you win games at Worlds. Yeah, but I think there's not that many great teams that play at Nashor at those Worlds. Like, I don't think I think G2 is maybe the best team that plays at Nashor in Europe. But I don't think Mad or Fnatic are very good playing at Nashor. And I don't know about NA, right? But I assume that like not many teams play that great at Nashor, besides maybe the top Asian teams and top Chinese teams, or Asian or whatever, I guess.
Sure,
SK,
sure.
LPL.
No, but like I don't think you can, even without watching it, conceptualize the mistakes that I'm talking around about.
Okay.
Like about Nash. Like it's like season. It feels like I'm watching myself play in season 5. That was the mistakes we were making in season 5 North America. That is the mistakes we were making around Nash and CBLOL.
Okay. Like, I remember watching NA back in the day, and people were dying to, I think, Herald or something. I remember you guys were like used to be so boosted. You guys kind of improved since then.
Yeah. As soon as I retired, then the region got better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but ever since I'm not in a top team, our region is not performing well. You can take the blame, I can take the credit.
Yeah, perfect. There's no one to teach the kids the Johnny mechanics, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I mean, BLG, that's the 1st seed from China. I mean, I assume you rate them high, right? Like, what do you think? How are the finals?
So the way I actually did the tier list, so they completely like stomped the finals. The way I did my tier list is I did like 2 different tier lists. One where I was trying to be like objective and just factor in, you know, just how they played, what I think their form is going in, the strengths and weaknesses of teams, whatever. And then the other tier list I made was just like full bias, like what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Like, if I were to do when I did my unbiased tier list, I had Gen.G as the best team in the world, BLG 2nd, Hanwha Life 3rd. When I did my biased tier list, I had BLG 1st because I
kind of agree with this actually, with the unbiased one.
I mean, the biased one, I just feel like BLG has actually spent so much time trying to become better than Gen.G since they played at MSI. Like, obviously they got beat twice by Gen.G, like super legit losses. They were just a worse team, but they replaced their jungler, right? They added Wei into the roster. I don't know if you watch them play at all, but with Wei, he is way more dynamic in the way he plays the game. Like, his pathing is significantly better.
I mean, I know Wei as a jungler, so I do know that he plays way more proactive, right? But I did not watch a lot of LPL after Heretics lost because I didn't have to watch for like learning, so I didn't watch that much. I just watched LCK.
Yeah, and when you guys lost in like what the f did you just pull up? Okay, I'm not gonna even ask, bro. I tracker, I guess. Yeah, you lost in what, like June, July, something like this. So it's been probably a while. You might have been out before Wave even started playing. Who knows? Yeah,
I mean, I think so. I think so actually. This is possible. But I still would. I mean, I just feel like Gen.G mechanically and how they play as a team and how they play around the map and their game understanding is really good. But I think their biggest strength is just their team fights. And I think LPL often their team fighting is really good. But I feel like the way I see what Gen.G players do in team fights, it's just like everyone is making their own small decisions that are just flawless or very good. Yep. And it's something that didn't look that way during the finals against Hanwha. When they were playing finals against Hanwha, I feel like, I don't know if it was like choking or they were more stressed on the day, or maybe they were not as prepared, or maybe Hanwha had the confidence of being on stage before and beating T1. Wait, did they beat T1? No, they did beat T1, right? So I don't know like what happened there, but I do feel like Gen.G on a good day will play well. But I mean, historically, even last year, they did, you know, not deliver during Worlds, but at the same time, now they have a Canyon, right? And Canyon is quite experienced, the one Worlds before. I feel like this is the year that Chovy should win. If he doesn't, then not sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was my unbiased take. There's just things that made me worry about Gen.G throughout like LCK. Like I don't, you watched pretty much like all of Gen.G, right? Throughout all of LCK.
Yeah.
And there was just this period where they're just playing a bunch of games. You can't even tell if they're like really trying or like when they're
or they're
like,
just running. Yeah, that's
stuff.
true. That's true. Yeah.
And they're just like dying all over the place, like stupid mistakes, dying early to like, you know, where they know the jungler is. And I don't even know how to factor that into my opinion of the team, because it just looks like they're so dominant in the LCK that they don't need to, like, they're trying to just expand champion pools and they're using those games for practice on stage. It's like a glorified scrim as opposed to putting your all into winning. So it's very hard for me to rate them times like that. And I don't know if that has actually helped them improve as a team, as opposed to like BLG when they brought in a new jungler, they started actually like playing a different style. It looks like BLG just has done everything, modeling their like all the flaws they had. They've tried to fix by looking at Gen.G and being like, what is Gen.G doing? Okay, how do we 2v1 better? Like, how do we fix our lane swaps to the point where we're actually not falling behind every single lane swap? How do we path our jungler to make sure that like our lanes are, you know, not being dove? Or like, how do we draft in order to make sure that we have different strengths on different sides of the map? And when we have like Bin on a carry, we play towards Bin as a carry, because if you remember how MSI BLG played, it's like even when Bin was playing Camille or whatever, he's just playing isolated the entire game. He's just doing his own thing, and Shun is just bot lane, and that is just how the team functions. And now they have Wei who's playing around all the lanes. So I don't know, I like, that's the reason why I like in my heart I believe BLG can do it, but I'm also just giga LPL fanboy, you know. I'm just so LPL pilled that I like always believe in the best teams in China.
I think I'm just afraid that, I mean, I don't know, they might just end up playing better as a team, right? But I also think that my take is, I feel like Gen.G just their players are, I kind of feel like Gen.G players are just like better. They are just like really insane, and their team fighting is well understood. But I didn't watch how Bilibili plays in the map now, and I feel like Gen.G can sometimes be a bit slow when they are not making these mistakes of taking fights away from jungler and just pushing limits. They can be a very slow team, and LPL style used to be quite chaotic and quite fast-paced. So if Bilibili can keep the skirmishes up and can be very proactive around the jungle, especially if Canyon is off Skarner, I can see things happening. Also, I do think, I mean, you had the tag of Canyon being really insane on Skarner. I agree with that, but I feel like Skarner is going to be quite a high priority because most of the tanks got nerfed, and I think Skarner is pretty good into Jarvan. And Sejuani, yeah, Maokai got nerfed. Sejuani is quite viable, but Jarvan is not the best in my opinion to Skarner. I mean, at least Skarner can cancel his EQ, which is like not easy, right? But I mean, obviously Skarner should be more tanky than Jarvan is gonna be in this fight. So I just wanna see how the jungle meta is gonna be as well. But I think for now I'll just leave it as it is.
Okay.
As for Damwon, I think they are very tricky, honestly. I think Damwon is, I mean, most of the time I like how they play. I feel like their new jungler is very proactive. I actually need to open because I don't remember his name.
Lucid?
But yeah, Lucid. But I feel like I actually like how Lucid plays the game. I feel like he's very smart and he takes a lot of risks. There is often lane swap games where I would say he flips it, but I feel like they have a game plan where he goes to the game and he makes decisions based on the lane swap that will put enemy jungle behind. And he's quite fearless for how young he is. I mean, besides that, I always felt like Aiming and Kellyn are like the ones who end at Worlds the most, though. At least last year, I think. Yep. It was always Damon's bot lane that was underperforming, but I feel like Aiming this year has been actually playing very well. And then I'm not too worried about Showmaker and about Kingen. Yeah, I don't know where to rate them, though. I mean, I feel like they would still be just under... I mean, they have to be, in my opinion, they have to be under BLG and other Gen.G. I think for now, I put them in B tier. But I will maybe change that later. We will see.
I'm kind of a Damwon hater for a few reasons. So number one, like I don't know if Kellyn's even going to play. I think that I saw something that said that Kellyn might actually end up being the starter, but in like LCK they were just pretty much essentially only playing with Moham. And
oh wait, no, but Moham was actually better, no? You think he was inting? I think he was actually better than Kellyn.
I think he was inting towards the end. Like I think he started off pretty well, and then like some of his series were just bad. Like his Blitzcrank game he played was just bad. It feels like he was kind of like Rel one trick for me at a point.
That's true.
So I'm not sure about him. Like I don't have a problem with Damwon individually. I think there's some things that will hurt. Like the AD carry meta, I don't think is that great for aiming. When I think of like what aiming is really good at, I think of like Zeri, Ezreal, Kai'Sa, these types of champs that are super mobile.
Xayah maybe, but I think Xayah is not gonna be meta as well because of Jarvan probably.
when the meta is just like Ashe, Ziggs, I think he's fine at these champs like MF, but I feel like they lose that X factor where, you know, Amy can just carry the whole game. So I don't like how the meta is shaping up for Dom1, and then I really don't like how they macro. Like, I think that their macro is just like the worst in LCK by far.
In LCK, yeah. From the teams that they sent, for sure. I think so too.
Like, they just never start Baron. That's the thing that I always get mad at them for. There's so many times where I'm like, all right, like, just start Baron, force a TP, start Baron to force somebody to face check, something like this. Like, you have control, and they'll just like sit there and do nothing. And there's so many games where they lose, where they have advantages.
I mean, I think their best play is their early game. I think their early game and planning and how they do things in the early is good. And then as soon as mid game approaches, they for sure like follow a lot. I agree with that for sure.
So, like, when I'm watching that, I think about teams like G2, right? And I'm like, if G2 can withstand the early game versus Dom1, don't G2 just win?
Yes.
If they just
I think G2's macro understanding is gonna be on a higher level than Dom1's. But I think that was already the case last year, right? I mean, G2 did win Dom1, and I feel like it was quite similar, right? And I think the players actually didn't change that much. I feel like in the end, if right now, but G2 is also like really good mechanically, and I feel like they play team fights well for a European team. So I feel like this is partially why I can see them winning. Not just the macro, but I do think the macro is there too.
Yeah, for sure. I think that G2, like they were pretty bad early game for like the last couple months, but I just like they've been good at early game before. I don't think that they'll always be able. They'll just always lose early game. You know?
Okay, but I feel like G2's early game, the problem is not within always like how they plan. I think sometimes it's just within their picks. You know, like sometimes they just go for things that are just harder to pull off in the early game, and then they tend to, you know, just be too greedy in the draft. And if they are not too greedy in the draft, then yeah, I mean, sometimes there is like some face checking going on from Mickey that maybe shouldn't be there. But I think the best time, okay, the thing is for me, G2's early game used to be consistently good last year, but that's because they played Draven, Kalista every single game, and they had jungle pathing to bot lane every game, and they had support that was going in every game. And now, when G2 is playing, for example, Ziggs bot lane on Hanwha, I don't think Hanwha is going to be great at Ziggs, but as you mentioned with aiming, I think Hanwha is way better on these champions that are proactive and that are doing well. And I think by the end of, the finals, and by the end of LAC, season, they started going back to these winning lane carries, for example, first picking Ashe every game. I think that fits Hans. I think Ashe, you know, he's very good on Ashe. He can definitely win lane. He can be proactive. He can initiate lane swaps. He can talk. He's a very talkative player. So I feel like this kind of thing is what G2 will have to do to do well, right? But yeah, I think if they go into mid game and they don't crumble under Damon's early game, I think G2 is gonna win.
I mean, I feel the same way. So like from watching NA, I feel like I have G2 a little bit above TL, but I have G2 and TL in mine above Dom1, because I think that when you go internationally, it feels like that's the reverse of what normally would happen, which it would be the NA and EU teams having to have a lead on the Asian teams, or the Asian teams will just win later on. I feel like this is just the reverse of that problem, where when you're uncomfortable and you have to rely on winning through early game, I just don't think that is a consistent way to outperform teams on the international stage. It's the same reason why I think like Gen.G is good. That's the exact same reason I think Dom1 is bad. I just think that the strengths of Dom1 do not translate as easily to the stage or
against the best teams. I think it's mostly against the best teams, yeah.
Yeah, against teams that have solid macro. And I think that the other teams, like maybe Dom1 could beat, you know, like LNG, stuff like this. Like top esports sometimes is kind of sus. Like they make just some really weird decisions. But I just believe in TL and G2 over Dom1. I feel like Dom1 is gonna crash at this Worlds, but maybe I'm just maybe I'm delusional. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, let's do FlyQuest now. Yeah, I mean, this is your time to shine. I heard Inspired is pretty consistently insane right now. I do tend to rate Bippo as a good player. I don't know about Quad, but I think they mostly changed him just to get rid of Jensen, right? And I assume he's performing fine. I guess their weakness is play their bot lane, right? Like being just there.
So the way I see FlyQuest, so Quad is extremely consistent, and I think he's probably the best laning mid laner that we have in North America. Like his laning is very good, and in the meta where, you know, you're playing Corki and all these types of things and Smolder, like these are picks. Great for him. Inspired is like the best jungler in North America. I think he's so fucking insane. He can play everything. His plans are really good. The question mark for me, I think Masu is good in the bot lane. Busio improved in playoffs. That's part of the reason why they won. But Busio and Bwipo have just really bad games sometimes. Like there's one game a series from Bwipo where he just runs it down. Like that just is what it is.
Yeah, that does sound like Bwipo.
Where he just runs it down and solo loses you the game. But then like the thing I always say about Bwipo is that normally when somebody runs it down, it like affects them. They feel bad. They play more reserved because they're running it down. But like Bwipo doesn't actually shrivel up and become a pussy on stage.
Yeah, he just keeps playing the same way. That's true. Like he may die, but yeah, that's true. But I also feel like it doesn't affect him in the next game. You know what I mean? Like if Bwipo runs it down, he's completely unaffected. He's just gonna keep running it down. But in the next game, he's gonna reset and he can still play well. He will still make the same decisions. Like he trusts himself a lot.
Yeah, which that's one of his strengths. I would say this is like even though it sounds like I'm flaming him because I'm saying he's running it down. I'm trying to present this as this is a strength of him as a player.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Like tilt from like his mistakes throughout a game. I do think that they're worse than TL overall, but they did end up winning. Like they did end up winning, but if you watch the series, I mean, it felt like it was there was a lot of random mistakes coming in from TL. Like Umti had a really bad series, which is something that happens when TL loses. Umti has been like the worst player consistently in a
lot of but I feel like it's probably both, right? It's probably Umti not performing that great, but it's also I think Jungle normally gets the most affected when. Yeah, okay, Inspired can be good, but I think it's also Jungle gets the most affected when the team is in a slump, I think. Because when the plans are bad, when people are not sure what to do on the map, like sure, a good jungler can lead the game, but if your lanes are not confident in either the matchups or the game plan, you may just not have an idea how to lead the game. So it could be Umti playing bad, could also be FlyQuest being a slump, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
What about, but FlyQuest should be better than Damwon, right? I think. I don't know, I see Damwon winning against FlyQuest, honestly. I don't know, I feel like Damwon's early game is what would... I don't think FlyQuest, like, is FlyQuest good in macro, mid game, late game, like really good? I feel like Inspired has good plans, but most of his plans are mostly, like, consist of full clearing, and I think Lucid can do the same thing. I think Lucid can match him. So I feel like... I don't know. I wouldn't be so confident about FlyQuest winning against Damwon.
Same. I have them lower. Which it's weird to have the team that won NA be like lower than Damwon and the team that lost be above, but I just think that you can't take too much away from like one best of 5 when TL was literally better than FlyQuest the rest of the year essentially.
Yeah, and I mean I can.
Fnatic.
Yeah, okay, so the thing is that, so Fnatic basically, I think that they have really good early games and good plans, and I think all of them play a pretty good laning phase. I think in mid-game, they start being a bit clueless. Sometimes they go to the wrong side, sometimes they open too quickly, sometimes they reset too late, and sometimes they're just greedy on kills, and sometimes individually they make mistakes. It can be Noah, it can be June, it can be Razork or Humanoid, but... There's like a lot of things that Fnatic does and were consistently doing for a long time, and that just doesn't seem to be improving quick. But they are really good at laning, I think, really good at laning. They play proactive drafts, always, pretty much. They don't play to, you know, just stay under towers. They will play it in your face, they will play to invade, they will play to fight. And they have good early game planning, and normally they consistently get ahead, even against G2, but then they just end up, you know, well, most of the games they play in G2, they were getting outscaled, but they would just also give up the lead in like the most brainless, stupid way. The reason why I put them above FlyQuest is because, I mean, kind of result-based, right? I think FlyQuest did win against them. I think FlyQuest is not a team who will crumble against Fnatic's early game, mostly because of Inspired and because of, like you mentioned, Quad is a good laner. And I think Humanoid does things to bad laners. Like, Humanoid can really stomp bad laners, but I don't think... he's gonna be as insane against good laners. So I think Quad can match him. I think people can probably match Oscarian, and I think, you know, the same against Inspired and Razork and bot lane.
I actually think the opposite about Humanoid. I think Humanoid is good versus good laners, and I think versus like bad laners, he just disrespects them so hard he ends up like inting. You know,
that is true, but I feel like it's not gonna be the case at Worlds. I mean, okay, the last time Humanoid went, was it the MSI when he was playing LeBlanc and they were like consistently getting least through mid, or was it last year Worlds? I think it was MSI.
Yeah, it was MSI. He played really well into like top esports.
Yeah, exactly, right.
And then versus Gen.G, he played fine, like pretty well. And then when he played against APA was just like. So
I mean, I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, I know that FlyQuest did beat them, but I don't know. I just feel like Fnatic should be.
FlyQuest didn't play them. Did FlyQuest play them? I don't think FlyQuest played them.
Didn't FlyQuest? Oh no, it was Team Liquid who beat Fnatic.
Team Liquid beat them.
Yeah. Okay, no, then I'm chilling. Then I'm trolling. Then yeah, for sure. I choose I choose Fnatic then over FlyQuest. I think Fnatic. I mean, also just looking at Champions Queue games. Okay, hey, this is completely irrelevant.
I'm just like insane like Fnatic hater. You don't even ask me about that. Like the way that they
okay, but they are actually like clearly the best team, the second best team in Europe, and there's no argument about it, you know. As much as their mid game sucks and they like, there's no way they are gonna win Worlds. I'm sorry, there's no way. Obviously they are not gonna win Worlds. But their early games and their like prowess of players is just good enough to beat most of them mediocre teams. And you know, unfortunately, most of the teams from the West are mediocre, so...
Yeah, I mean, I can see how big of a lead does Fnatic need to close out games.
I mean, I think it depends, right? Because I think the way FlyQuest, I don't know how FlyQuest get drafts, but I don't see FlyQuest drafting full scaling. If FlyQuest is gonna draft full scaling as Fnatic, I actually think FlyQuest is gonna win. But if they play like early game, too much early game, I think Fnatic has the upper hand. Because I do think Fnatic is actually good at this, you know. But if they rely on macro to close out games, then we will have problems. But it's not like they are completely stupid and clueless. I mean, they would make mistakes in high pressure games, and they do sometimes, you know, make these.
Bro, I mean, there's like even the series they won versus Mad Lions. This recent one.
Oh yeah, that was that's true. I mean, that was one. But okay, I think Oscaririn played the worst playoffs of his life, though. I think Oscaririn against G2 was terrible, and I think Oscaririn most of the time against Mad Lions was really bad as well. And he did find some really good plays against Mad Lions too, so I don't want to like completely shit on him for that series. But I think Oscaririn against G2 was so bad. Hard to watch. But I hope he's gonna perform better at Worlds.
I feel like Oscar, like to me, I'm not that critical of Oscar. I feel like in season finals, it felt like Jun just gets a huge pass. Like when Jun runs it down, like everyone really respects him because of how well he played.
Normally, yes, that's true. That's true. I agree with you, actually. I completely agree with you.
Starting to like run it down so hard, just get caught, like start horrible fights, like run down mid, whatever, just die. And for some reason, he just never gets the criticism when he ruins the game state for Fnatic. But like, if Noah ever makes a mistake, bro, it's like over for him. Like I'm on his ass. Like everyone's on his ass. Oscar, same thing. Like Jun just gets the biggest pass.
Okay, I think I'm gonna keep going.
Go for it.
I mean, okay, so for now I have G2 in A tier, but I'm not gonna keep them as the first team in A tier most likely. I'm gonna put some teams above them. It's just that I do believe they are A tier, and I do believe they are the best in the West, and I would still like to rate them highly because I respect their players. I think they are arguably probably the best at. Okay, besides Yike, maybe, they are the best at... I think they have the best players besides Jungle. I think Jungle, maybe you can argue that I think Razork played really well. I think, you know, Inspired's getting a lot of praise. I haven't watched an ace, so I don't know if Inspired played better or worse than Razork, but I feel like Jungle is the only lane where I would, you know, I would argue whether he's best or not, but I feel like Broken Blade, Caps, Hansama and Mickey are good. I think Mickey does have games where he runs it down, but normally he runs it down for the team.
I thought he played really well in like season finals. I thought Mickey was insane.
Yeah, I think Mickey is really smart, and I think he performs when it matters very well. I wouldn't be sure about Hans every time, because I think Hans on these like passive champions doesn't always deliver as much. Like he can be S+ player on, you know, winning lane kind of champions and pressure map kind of champions, and then maybe go down to like A+, S- when he's playing these scaling champions, when he doesn't have as much as much to say in the game. But I still believe that G2 is good, and I think they have good macro, and they have creative players. And I think having creative players is also something underrated, or maybe it's not, but people don't talk about it enough. I think having players that think actively in the game on how to win the game and how to make these winning situations happen is very important. And I think G2 has the players who constantly are problem solving and finding new ways and finding creative ways to win, unlike just AFKing and getting stomped. So I just want to rate them A, basically.
Sure. I mean, look, in my personal like bias tier list, I had G2 very high, but when I tried to just analyze how they were playing in summer and how they played in season finals, it's very hard for me to like just give them a pass.
It's very different, right? It's very different.
What I would say is I wish that I didn't watch them after MSI. Like I just wish that I watched them during MSI and I could just remove summer and season finals from my memory, and I could just think about that version of G2, because then I would have so much more hope.
Yeah, but I think G2 always steps. Oh shit! I think G2 always steps it up when it matters, and I think they will play well.
Like last year versus Energy at Worlds.
Okay, but they had a very competitive series against BLG. No, was it BLG? I think it was BLG.
Yeah.
They are very competitive. They almost like they won one. Wasn't that 1-2? 1-2, right? And it was close. They could have won. So I think they will.
Than versus Energy. I mean, Energy just fucking pissed on them.
Yeah, Energy just pissed on them, and then they just got pissed on in quarters. So that was a shame that they even got there, because by the
finalists. They
that's
got
true.
Unlucky
That's
draw,
true.
Bro. They played against Weibo. Like, what can you do?
That's true, that's true. Okay, next. I mean, for now I just put Hanwha A tier, but I think Hanwha could honestly be S tier. I do think that meta may just... I feel like they need meta. I feel like I mean, okay, so I do think that players are really good, but I think at least mid benefits from, you know, Akali Yone, Silas, like all these champs for Zeka. I think that he's just great on them. That's how he won worlds in DRX.
Bro,
so
I think that narrative is a little bit outdated. No, like Zika's just insane on everything.
I think you think he's just really good. Yeah, maybe.
So fucking good.
I mean, I think Peanut. I think it's kind of same about Peanut. Honestly, I do think he's a really good facilitator, but I think Peanut's puffing and Peanut's early games and Peanut's like he's just a smart player. I think he's consistent. So I like Peanut as well.
Yeah, no, I mean Peanut was extremely good in all of playoffs. I mean for Zika specifically, this guy like. What can he not play right now? He plays everything well. Like they removed Corki package, so he can play that. He can play Zir.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what
better than anyone else. Like
his Yone is insane. His Yone is absolutely insane. That's 100% true. Okay, I honestly would just move them to S tier. I don't know. I feel like they did win finals against Gen.G, and I feel like they actually like step up a lot lately. And I do think that whatever their players are good. On what's being played. I like how they play the map. I think they have a good macro. I think they have a good game understanding. I think their laning phase is strong. Their early games are strong. I think there's just no argument to not put them S tier. I think they are a good team.
They're S tier for sure, bro. They're S tier for sure.
Really LNG. Honestly, I have no clue. I really did not watch LNG games, I think. Wait, it's Tarzan, no? Isn't it?
No. That's
it's not anymore.
LNG is Weiwei. Weiwei,
okay.
Yeah, Weiwei,
Zika,
Hong, Scout, Gala.
Okay. Wait, is it Scout? It's not
weird,
Scout. Wait, Scout is not going, no?
Scout is going. I think it's the most updated information is that Scout is probably going.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. They're very hard to watch. Like for me, LNG, they like play. They're very good when the game plan is going exactly how they planned it, and then when the game plan breaks down, bro, you gotta stop fucking going to this eye test. My God, I feel like I'm getting banned every time. But every time that the game plan breaks down, I just feel like they just become nothing. You know, they just AFK and lose the game. So it's very hard for me to rate them highly. They did 3-0 Weibo in regionals, but the context for that is that the way they do regionals in China is you play regionals literally the day after you play finals. So Weibo lost to BLG in finals. They got 3-0'd by BLG, and the next day they have to somehow prep for LNG. They have to get over the final loss and prep for LNG. And LNG had most likely been prepping for Weibo the whole time because BLG is like the best team in China. They're probably expecting BLG to win that no matter what. So they're prepping to play against this team, and this team just ends up, just getting 3-0'd and have to play the next day. So I do think that Weibo is a better team than LNG. It's just that LNG had the advantage of playing the day after in Gauntlet.
I actually looked at the Weibo players, and then I was like not that confident for them at Worlds. Tarzan, Xiao, who light crisp. I mean, I just feel like Xiao did not really perform that great normally at Worlds. Like he was never really, compared to any other mid laner, I feel like he was not really that great. But I feel I'm just looking at Tess, and I think Tess won against. I think Tess won against G2 on MSI, right? And I think Tess improved a lot. They lost. No, they won the other tournament. The
South EWC.
Yes. And their Cream played so much better than during MSI. I think Cream at MSI was terrible. And I think Cream during EW whatever, he was so much better. And Tess improved a lot. So I feel like Tess could be A-tier team. But since I didn't watch LPL, my information could be completely wrong. And I might just be clueless.
I have the same take. I think Top Esports is an A-tier team. They played a bad series versus Weibo. They play a lot worse whenever they lose a game in a series, which is obviously super concerning. But when you look at the average level of the players that they have and how good they are individually, their macro is fine too. There's no reason this team should not be better than they are. It's just the team collapses whenever they lose a game.
Okay.
They just collapse. So it's like I don't know how to rate a team like that. It's the hardest team for me to rate because they're super good on paper, and then they lose a game, they become a completely different team, which is obviously a horrible quality to have. So
wait, where would you end up placing LNG Weibo? Like looking at my standings right now, I want to cover Mad Lions in a second, but I want you to help me with the LNG and Weibo right now.
I think that they're for me, so the way I had it is I had mine a little bit different. My S tier, now that I'm just looking at mine. So my S tier was Gen.G first, then BLG, then Hanwha Life, same as you.
Okay.
Then my A tier was Top Esports alone, but that was just me being like, this is how they should be. This is in my unbiased one. I think Top Esports should be the fourth best team.
Okay.
I think it's very low percentage that it actually happens, but this is how good they are.
I need to give some cope. This is a bit biased, and I want to make G2 in A tier, no matter what. And if G2 is in A tier, I still think T1 beats them, because I think T1 is just in their heads, but who knows. And for Tess, I just didn't watch, but I trust they're really good. I can put Tess over T1. That's completely fair, I think.
And then like for me, then my B tier was Weibo, then T1, then I had G2 and then TL, and then my C tier was FlyQuest, then Dom1. My D tier was Fnatic, then LNG. But this is when I made my tier list, I didn't know who was playing for LNG. I thought it was Scout playing. If Scout plays, it's very hard for me to know, like, are they scrimming with Scout? Like, what was their whole situation? Like, were they scrimming with Ygal for days, thinking that he was going to play? Did they know that Scout was going to get resolved before this? Like, it's very hard for me to rate a team because I have no clue what their prep has been like.
So do you think LNG and Weibo... So you would still rate LNG and Weibo over all the Western teams besides G2, in your opinion?
No. I would have LNG... I would have Weibo above. I would have LNG below.
Okay.
That's what I would have.
I mean, I kind of cannot put LNG lower than Mad. But okay, at the same time, I do think Mad Lions, by the way, they are really good when they don't play. And then they just pop out and they are normally having creative waves of winning games. Okay, so they always play 2 lanes and this is not gonna change. And they path pretty much exactly the same way.
Though. Like that was the same problem that was the same thing I always held against BDS, is that BDS played 2 lanes because they're
but BDS played 2 lanes, but they played bad 2 lanes. I think Mad actually plays like a good 2 lane, you know? So I feel like the advantage of Mad Lions is... Okay, so first of all, I think their mid laner is going to struggle against most of the competition, but I do think that they have creative ways of locking in champions, and normally they are ahead. Like, in my experience, when they do best in playoffs and maybe in the season is when people don't know what they play, and they start playing the new shit. And then they, you know, flip up a TF top, one of the first teams to play it, and then they flip out. I mean, okay, I'm not sure about Nidalee top, but it looked pretty decent. I think they had like some strats with Lulu, which was so-so, but they also were one of the first teams to play Smolder top, Smolder mid, Zeri top, you know, like abusing the meta that is gonna be. And I just don't know if they will be ahead in the meta at Worlds or not. But I think if they understand the game faster than other teams, they will actually be good. But as soon as the teams will have the same understanding, they will collapse instantly because they are so easy to read. They are so easy to read if you know what they want to do.
I mean, I think that's fair. Like for me, the thing about Mad Lions is they have to go through play-ins. And when I think about how Mad Lions plays, like they don't do that well when they play against bad teams. It's almost like they play better against good teams than they do against bad teams. So that always makes me feel like sketchy when they're a play-ins team. Like, are they actually going to do well against the other play-ins teams? But I guess we'll see.
I mean, they will be soon.
In your chat. Well played, bro.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah. Can you move your camera?
Bro, there is a guy literally just doing this. He's saying the 14th dig of Sabaton, and then he's just posting Coca and counting how many Cocas he can post until the Sabaton ends. And he's just here every couple of every like 1 hour or so, just posting a Coca. Actually, I don't think he's there always, but he's there whenever he can be. I think today he posted about 12 Cocas. Oh, so nice. He started
he's
today.
He's still free to. Okay, so you could just post Cocas with impunity in Jankos chat. Well played.
I mean, my chat likes it. I don't know why. They just big fans of that. Also, I learned it from Doublelift. Last year Worlds, I was live viewing it. I couldn't co-stream, so I was living with Doublelift, and then I saw massive donks in his chat, and I was like, wait, that's kind of cool. I want some massive donks in my chat. And then I just, you know, ended up enabling it. That like I'm fine with it. But I think lately it depends. If it's too much, I will disable it. If it's not, it's fine. I just don't want it to be too much.
There's like a certain amount of dongs per hour.
Yeah, there can be too many. If there's too many, they will get banned. If there's you know, one Coca every couple of minutes, who doesn't want to look at one nice Coca every couple of, you know, like every 1-2 hours? That's completely fine.
I mean, that'll be your next eye tracker, bro. When you do your next eye tracking video.
I did guys already. I mean, but like, okay, not massive. No, I mean, I kind of did guys, but at the same time, like, what do you really look at? I was looking at their muscles. I mean, it's kind of like nice, no? Who doesn't like muscles? Muscles are base. Like, muscles are so nice. I would like to have more muscles. Everyone likes muscles, so I think it's fair. But yeah, anyway, I think that's kind of it. I think I'll keep it as it is. I'm pretty satisfied. I think you gave me a lot of expertise, so thank you very much. I think without you, I would probably rate teams way different, at least the Chinese teams. But that's because I didn't watch them. It's really nice to know the expertise from NA2. And
watch this all be wrong, bro. It'll be just completely
wrong. I expect, I think there will be a lot of things wrong. And I didn't even cover the playing team, so I could be wrong there as well, right? I mean, obviously, but yeah. We will see. I kind of feel bad for 100 Thieves being like the only Western team that is so low, but it is what it is.
All right, for sure. All right, man. Well, it was fun.